Alright, class is learning about Splunk now. We've got a couple of exercises that we were provided. I'm going to knock out a simple one, and we've got our exercise here. Mainly, we're going to get the data uploaded via some files. Generally, the data going into Splunk would be automatically sent over from your organization and ingested via Splunk that way, but for this example we are just uploading some static files. So let's get started. This is the Splunk dashboard for Enterprise. We're going to use the quick links to add some data. I believe I could upload just the .zip file, which would be faster, but I'd like to get some practice. So I'm going to upload each file individually, which I've extracted here. We basically have database server log, firewall log, web server log. So we're going to see IPs and different requests and things like that. So let's get started with the upload button on the bottom left of the Splunk platform. Select file, DB server. We're going to hit the green button a bunch. We don't need to format anything at this point. This does, however, look like when we review this comma separated values or a CSV. So let's go ahead and try and select CSV here. And that looks like it is happy with that. So let's go ahead and now that it's parsed it, we've got our timestamp, we've got, this is probably the requesting IP. This is what the IP is requesting. Timestamp settings, input settings. Next, submit. And once we clean it up a bit, we'll work on extracting fields. For now, let's take a look at our questions. So it wants to know about the web server. We need to go ahead and upload that and the firewall. So we'll get out of this by clicking the green button, go back to the home dashboard page to get to quick links, add data, upload, select file, firewall, comma separated values, CSV, next. Probably that add more data button would be useful. But for now, I'm just going to go with what I know and learn about it later. Last one is the web server. Next. CSV. Next. Green button. All right, so let's take a look at our fields. First question is going to be how many unique IP addresses visited the web server. What's the IP address of the external user who accessed the database server? And did that external user also visit the web server? So it doesn't look like we're covering any firewall data in these questions. Let's take a look. We are in webserver.log as indicated by the source. Up in this bar is where you would submit your SPL, which I believe is Splunk Programming Language. That's what SPL stands for. So let's see what we've got. It doesn't look like it parsed this out very well. We've got date stamp here, we've got IP address, we've got the method like get and post, and we've got the web page or slug that is being visited per the request. So here's like a post for a login request. A 200 status is a good status, a 403 status. I believe that's the client side erroring out. If it was 500, that would be server side. 302, I think the 300s are something to do with redirects. So let's go ahead and extract new fields to clean up this data a bit. We are going to, all of the line items are the same, and it's asking me to select one of them here to work with. So we'll click the first one, we'll hit next. We should be able to delimit or separate the items via commas. So we'll select delimit, we'll select comma, and now we've got our different items set up here. For date time, I'm going to put DT. We'll put client IP here for the IP address. We'll put method for the get and the posts. I'll put slug for the different pages visited. I'll put status. Maybe response would work too, but we'll put status, and then we'll put, this is file size in bytes, I believe. So we'll put file size there. Okay, we've got our new fields being created. We'll go ahead and press next, and we'll do, what was the name of this sucker? Web server. So I'll put it in caps just to keep it the same. Web server, report-web server. It's going to associate this extract field file with the data set webserver.log. That's my understanding. And let's go ahead and click explore the fields I just created in search and review our question. How many unique IP addresses visited the web server? So we're looking for unique IP addresses that visited the web server. This is not the correct item to be looking for, so we'll indicate source and then put in web server, and it'll find the matching term here, webserver.log. See if last 24 hours works. Wait a moment for it to load. All right, we'll switch to all time, and for some reason that works. I don't know if maybe it's referencing the date stamp here, and since it's not past 24 hours date stamped, it doesn't like it, but now we have, on the left, interesting fields. If you go through them, you do start to find the items that you created in the field extractor. So we'll hit yes on client IP. We want DT for date time, should be here. I don't see it. There it is, selected fields. DT is already pre-selected. Method is already pre-selected. Slug we could use, but per the question, we don't really need it. What we only really need, again, is how many unique IP addresses visited the web server. So really what we need to do is count client IPs. And we don't really need to see anything else at this point. So the only one we really need is client IP here. And that's popping up in each data piece right there. So let's go ahead and pipe out a command to count client IP by method. We don't need, I'm going to just run this and see if it works. So that's going to count total client IPs. what I want to do is count unique client IPs. So let's get rid of that. And I'm going to do my best to figure this out without using Gemini for a moment, and then I'll hop to that. Let's go to verbose mode. So each separate one is a different visit. It could be the same IP or not. Stats, count. Let's just do count by. I'm using this stuff down here to kind of guide me. Let's try that. And let's see if, so now it looks like we are having a count pop up. So I just tried to get a little fancy by passing the client IP into the count method. But this looks like it's an indicator to count each one as a unique IP. So now, sorry about the vibrating. Put this on airplane mode. So to me, it looks like we've got the count complete. We could hop into visualization and see on a graph the ones that are visiting the most. There we go. This needs to be a bit wider. Wonder if we can snip this somehow. So we're looking at, it doesn't really matter. I wanted to zoom in a bit, see if I can just scroll. No. We got this one, 5, and these 3 at 6 visits. Come on, bud. Painful. All right, let's see. Why is this all blank? So this is all just one-time visits, all of these. So let's do, I wonder if we can do greater than 1. Stats, counts, maybe count greater than 1. Invalid, search error, counts greater than 1. Doesn't like that. All right. I'm going to Gemini that one. How to filter this to show me only IPs with greater than 1. And we'll see if it recognizes it as Splunk. Might have to specify that. Yep. So we just need to add another pipe here. So it generates the count here, and then it pipes that output into the next section here where count equals 1. So we'll go ahead and drop it down here, paste that in. Count is greater than 1 rather. So now we have everything greater than 1. The visualization should be a bit easier. There we go. So 6, 6, and another 6 for the devil's favorite number. And that should answer our first question. And more specifically, it was literally just looking for how many unique IPs visited. So stats count client IP Let's just see if this is going to show me unique visits. Actually, let's double check it, make sure we're not doing it wrong. How to count unique number of unique IPs that visited on log in Splunk. I wonder if it's like a count.unique or something. Stats, what's DC? Distinct count. Stats, distinct count. Client IP. And why does it output? This renames the resulting count field. Okay, we don't need to do that, but it's good to know you can rename the count field. Let's try it. Stats, distinct count, so not unique dot, it's distinct count, and then pass all the client IP fields through it, and then name the output as that. So we've got, here's the name of it, 1138 total unique IPs visited. So we'll just put that in our answer here. So we figured out how many visits each unique IP had with our previous line of SPL script, and then we figured out the distinct count of the client IP. So that knocks out the first one. Now we want to look at the database server. So let's do, I think it's dbserver.log, yep. And let's go ahead and just take a look. IP address of the external user who accessed the database server. So first thing we want to do, 192.168 is usually kind of like a self-referenced IP, I believe. And then we've got a ton of these 203s. Those are probably it. They are, let's see. Let's perform another extraction real quick. Before we do, I'll just check it. Looks like it saved the other items from the last one, but let's do an extract new fields and click the first one. And so we've got, looking at it, it's comma delimited. We've got an action. Let's look up SQL syntax because that's SQL. And I want to name this correctly. So SQL syntax query example. Thanks, Gemini. I don't want to be your enemy. Okay. We're trying 2.5 Pro experimental Gemini, so it's moving a bit slower. Okay, so we've got select keyword indicating you want to retrieve data. Select from, where, or by. And this is, well, more like what action. More like select and insert are actions. What would the other parts be termed? Statements or commands. Okay, we've got statements, commands, statement. A clause contains or is basically identifying Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, so let's go ahead and work on the extraction first. Delimiter, comma. Now we've got date time's the same. I think we already have that field in the search, but maybe it's only associated with the other log file. We'll find out. Let's see, client IP. We're going to call this the keyword insert payments into values, select blah, blah, blah. This is we are selecting to insert the value, insert into payments values. Now let's do this. Let's copy this. For Splunk, how would you label each field above delimited by commas? See how off we were on hours compared to whatever Gemini thinks. Doesn't mean it's entirely correct. Timestamp. It's a weird way to pull the IP, but so it likes action here. Query string or SQL statement. We'll do query. This is going to be client IP, that works fine. Date time or timestamp works fine. Field 5 is status or result. Okay, so we've got date time, client IP, action, query. And that looks good. So now we'll go ahead and hit next. DB. I don't think I need to change the permissions. And now we'll go ahead and see if those are selected or not. Still doing that. Source. Surprised it doesn't automatically go to this guy. See if 24 hours works again. Yeah. Oh, it's 15 minutes, bro. Yeah. All time. Okay. So client IP, date time, what's the question? What do we need to actually know? What is the IP address of the external user who accessed the database server? Where there's, well, there are two. And process of elimination here, this is probably us. So this is probably the external IP. But I do see actually a lot more different IPs now. So let's do a DC client IP, see how many there are. Stats, we need to, it didn't link properly. You saw by the color it was gray because I didn't have that part in. So let's try that. 717. Okay. And the question was, which IP address of the external user who accessed the DB server? And now we might actually be looking at the wrong log, because obviously every IP here is accessing the DB server. So maybe we need to hop back into web server. Pardon, source web server. Give me web. There it was. I saw it. I synced it. Web server.log. Press enter. Let's look for some sort of access to the database. What might that look like? Let's look at slugs. Feedback about rare values. Index is the rarest, about, feedback, admin, products. Use the Splunk to answer using simple SPL queries. How many unique IP addresses visited the web server? What is the IP address of the external user who accessed the DB server? Well, what do we know from the DB server IPs? And what do we know in correlation here? The 203, the 192, those are similar. I guess my next question will be, have we looked at firewall yet? And what can that teach us? Add data. Upload. Select. Firewall. Next. CSV. Source type. CSV. I mean, it might be good to do firewall because then it might. Well, that looks pretty good though. Save as. Save source type. No, it's fine. I think it converts what's being uploaded possibly. But this looks good. Submit, submit, start searching. Let's see what we see here. So SQL is probably what we want to search. So let's perform another extraction to more easily parse out the different fields. So let's do clicky, 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 comma separated, probably source, destination, protocol, and response or action in terms of what the firewall did. I'll probably name it rule. And then we'll do DT for date time, source, IP, destination IP, IP. Should probably be using underscores to make it more readable. Field name, protocol, and rule. SQL is probably what we want to see. So let's hit next, report firewall, finish, explore, explore. Again, why not auto search the file I just uploaded? Firewall, search, all time, every time, all time. Every time. All right. So here are our different fields we created. Although we want not client IP, but source. Do not mix me up. Source IP, destination IP. How do can I reorder them? Can I reorder the feeds? Move up, move down. Do we have that option? No. Alright, whatever. Oh, I don't even care. It's not in the right order. I don't even care. Protocol. So we want SQL. Let's just type SQL. So now we're seeing all the IPs that visited. It would be really awesome if I could move these. Alright, unclick, re-click, and it should go next to its friend. No, it's going to do alphabetical. This is silly. All fields. Can I move them here? Stupid. Field. That doesn't matter. This is ridiculous. 192.108.226. So if we're looking at allow, block, an allow rule probably implies that it's a known IP. A block probably implies that it's an external. So I'm wondering if this is going to be the answer, or rather a firewall where when you're trying to get in, you're coming from source, trying to get to the alpha 1. Am I dumb? That is the problem? Please don't say yes, audience. I'll feel it. All right. Let's ask our friend Gemini if I can get it up. How can I tell who the external user is between 3 logs? DB firewall web server. If I knew who I was, that would be easy to then figure out the network rate. Oh my goodness. Did I just answer my own question? Because I deleted. Idiot! Freaking idiot! Alright, so we are network range 192. Oh god, I'm so dumb. Alright, we are CIDR range 16 for our subnet. That means that anything here from 1 to 256 and 1 to 256 is us. Public web server accessible from external IP addresses, restricted to internal IPs only. So anything that's not 192.168 is an external request to the database server. Is that not right? So, am I incorrect? Do I spin falsehoods? DB, get serious, Tim, Jesus. DB server.log, enter, all time, every time. And then we'll do, let's try a not. Source IP equals anything that is 192.168.start. See if that works. This is saying any number in here. It's the wild card. This looks as successful. So I would call this the external IP address that tried to get into and maybe successfully got into the database, because our network range is this. Anything with 192.168. Those are all us. This is not us. This is bad guy. Well, thanks for hanging out for that one. Did that external user also visit the web server? Oh, I will let you know. Web server. And, well, let's do this. This is web server. Source IP works again, and source IP equals this. Search. They did. They tried to post to the about page. My guess, since they were getting into SQL, they were trying to perform an SQL injection to something on the about page. Just a guess. Oh, look at more stuff. I don't see anything else that really expands on it further, however, other than the post request, the fact that it 404'd on their end. Well, so a get 404 would say this page doesn't exist. A post probably means you're not able to perform that action. Let us ask our superior intellect within the GPT, Gemini, is a 404 response to a post request, meaning that the post failed or wasn't possible. What would a get request be successful if the page existed but didn't accept a post? Yes, they heckin' did. A 404 not found means the server couldn't find any resource matching that path. It doesn't actually know if you're get post putting. It only says, hey, this doesn't exist. If the URL did exist, but did not allow the post method, you would get a 405 error, method not allowed. Okay. So they were poking around, probably looking for non-secure web pages forgotten about on the web server that they could exploit. Maybe like an old form that never got used that accepted user input. that could be SQL injected or command injected. But yeah, so long and short, how to upload, wow, 40 minutes, jeez. Long and short, how to upload files, how to create extraction fields, and then utilize the fields created by the extraction field, how to navigate through different data sets using source up here and SPL, along with combinators and pipes and methods like stats, count, DC for distinct count, and creating some visuals with a visualization table. That'll do it. Learn good, be responsible. Yeah.